Hello, my loves. Welcome to this week's homework, which is looking at decimals to the tenths. When we're talking about the tenths, we're talking specifically about that place value. Now, on your printable and in the classroom, you have seen where we have our numbers, such as 1, 2, 3, and they're labeled with their place value. Just like our whole numbers have a place value or a name for their space in the number, so do our decimals. So when we're talking about the tenths place, we're talking about the first place value after the decimal. But what that means is we're taking something and we're cutting it into 10 pieces. Just like when we're talking about the hundredths place, that is the second place value. And that means we're cutting something into 100 pieces. All right, sweet faces, let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at our decimals. So if I have 9 tenths and I want to write it as a decimal, I need to put that 9 in the place value that says its name. Up top, we see right here, which decimal place value says tenths, which matches our denominator, the first place. So 0.9 would be a 9 in the tenths place. Coming over to our second one. Don't get tricked because I gave you a whole number. You have been working with mixed fractions and you've done a really nice job. That 7 means that I have 7 wholes. We talk a lot about pizza, right? 7 full pizza boxes. But what our focus is the decimal. So write your whole number down, put your decimal, and take a peek at what you're being asked to do. So I need a 5 in the tenths place. So I'm going to put a 5 in the tenths place. Coming down to question number 3. I have 4 and 2 tenths. 4. And I needed 2 in the tenths place. I'm going to put it here. 4 and 2 tenths. 4 and 2 tenths. They match. We have 1 tenth, so I'm going to put a 1 in the tenths place. 0.1 or 1 tenth. Coming down here, we have 2 more. I need a 7 in the tenths place, 0.7. That's a 7 in the tenths place. Remember, if we were speaking in decimal language, we would say 0 and 7 tenths. That decimal holds the word and. Last one on this page, we have 1 whole and 3 tenths. 1 and 3 tenths. That's the end of page 1. Any questions? Bring them with you to class. All right, love bugs, now you were being asked to shade in the decimal that we have below. Now, a couple of reminders. Our whole number means we have the whole thing. So this first number would be read as 2 and 4 tenths. So let's take care of our 2 first. We have 2 wholes. Let me make that a little bit darker so it's a little bit easier to see. Let's do blue. There we go. So I have 1, 2. That takes care of my whole number 2. Now I need 4 tenths. Each of these blocks is cut into 10 pieces, so I need 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. This shows me 2 and 4 tenths. Question number 2 is asking you to show 8 tenths. I don't have any holes, so I'm going to fill in 8 of my tenths pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have filled in 8 tenths of this square, which means that eight of them are shaded and 2 of them are staying white. I need 1 and 2 tenths. I'm going to fill in 1 whole square, and then I'm going to fill in 2 of my tenths. 1, 2, 1 and 2 tenths. Next one has no hole, so I'm simply filling in my pieces. I need to fill in 7 of my tenths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have shaded in 7 tenths. Down here, we have a hole and some tenths. So I need to fill in 3 of my holes. So 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes. Remember that hole just means that I have 10 out of 10 pieces. I have the whole thing or all of them. and then I need to fill in an additional 6/10. So this first row gives me 5, and then I fill in one more down here for my 6. So I have 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and 6 of my 10. Last one is 9/10, which means all but one of my pieces need to be filled in because we know that each of these blocks holds 10 pieces, but I only want to fill in 9 of them. 9/10. Any questions, my loves? Bring them with you to class. All right, kiddos, we are just moving and grooving through our math today. This time we are showing our fraction as a decimal on a number line. Talk about stretch, but nothing you can't handle, my little geniuses. So let's take this one step at a time. I have a whole, it's a 2, and then I need 1/10. So let me think, what does that look like as a decimal? Well, I need a 2 before the decimal because I have 2 holes, and then I need a 1 in the 10ths place. I'm going to put my 1. So 2 and 1/10 is the same as saying 2.1. They match. 2 and 1/10, 2 and 1/10. I come down here to find my 2 and 1/10. Here it is. I'm going to put my spot, my dot, my marker at 2 and 1/10. Over here, 7/10 written as a decimal means I have a 7 in the 10ths place. I'm going to find it on my, oh, let me change my color. There we go. Find it on my number line, 7/10, and I'm going to mark it 7/10. Down here, I have 3/10, which means that I need to have a 3 in the 10ths place. Here's my 3, and we know that that first place value is called the 10th, so I have a 3 in the 10ths place. Find it on my number line, 3/10, and mark it. Next one, I have a whole and a fraction. So I need the 3 wholes before the decimal, and then I need a 9 in the 10ths place. 3.9 is right here, and I'm going to mark it 3 and 9/10. 2 more, my little loves. We have a 5 and 6/10. So I need a 5 before my decimal because those 5 represent a whole or ones place, and I need a 6 in my 10ths place. Come over to my number line and find 5.6. Put my decimal at 5.6 or 5 and 6/10. Last one for this page. No whole numbers, so I can put my 0 before my decimal, but I need a 4 in the 10ths place. I find it on my number line, and I put my 4 at the 10ths place. This was a sticky, tricky page. I hope that you had success, but if not, that is okay. This was a stretch. Any questions? Bring them with you to class. Right, my loves, this page, page 4, was a little bit of thinking backwards because we've been talking about, well, how do I write my fraction as a decimal? So let's go backwards and ask ourselves, well, how do I write my decimal as a fraction? Right? How do I write my decimal as a fraction? Well, the place value where that number lives tells me my denominator. So this 2 is in the 10ths place, which means that I need to put a 10 as my bottom number. And how many tenths do I have? Well, I have 2 of them. Down here, I have a 2 in the 10ths place, but I also have a whole number. There's my mixed number like we talked about last week. So 2 and 2/10. We're building. I have a 7 in the 10ths place. I have a 7 in the 10ths place here, but I also have a whole number 1. So we get a mixed fraction. 1 and 7/10. Coming down here, I have a 3 in the 10ths place. See how they match? I have a 3 in the 10ths place down here, but I also have a number 4. 4 and 3/10. Down here, I have a 1 in the 10ths place. Down here, I have an 8 in the 10ths place, but I also have 3 holes, 3 and 8/10. I have a 5 in the 10ths place. I have a 9 in the 10ths place and 1 hole. Last 2, I have a 6 in the 10ths place. I have a, ooh, there we go. I have a 4 in the 10ths place. And I also have 2 holes. Any questions on this? Bring them with you to class. All right, Sophie says, looking at some word problems. Remember when we're talking about word problems, we're asking ourselves, what are they asking me to do? And what numbers are they giving me to use? Let's read them. I highly suggest reading them twice when you're solving them. But let's take a peek. It says that Liam has 60 cents. How many dimes does he have? Ooh, I know that every dime is 10 cents. So if he has 60 cents, he is going to have 6 dimes. I can check that because I have to count by 10 6 times if I'm skip counting or doing my multiples. 6 times gets me to 60 or 60 cents. Over here we have our friend Oliver. Oliver has $1.50 and Amelia has $3.20. Who has more? Well, in this case, Amelia has more because she has 3 whole dollars and 20 cents. Whereas Oliver only has $1 and 50 cents. So those wholes help us decide. Amelia has 3 whole dollars and Oliver only has 1. Amelia has the most. Let's talk about Elijah. Our friend Elijah has 40 cents. Sophia has 90 cents and Henry has 60 cents. Order them from most to least based on their amount of money. So we're doing most to least or greatest to least. So Henry, you're in the middle. Sophia has the most because she has 90 cents, and then Henry, and then Elijah. So Henry has Sophia has the most, Henry is second place, and Elijah is last place with his 40 cents. Harper put a dime in her piggy bank every day starting on Sunday. By Saturday, how much money does she have? This one is sticky because we need to think about the days of the week and how much time passes from Sunday to Saturday. If it helps you to write your days of the week, you can do that. We have lots of strategies. We could also count on our fingers Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or I'm sorry, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which would give us 7 days. So she puts 10 cents in Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. We see the pattern, Friday and Saturday. So how much money does she have? Let's count. We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. She has 70 cents in her piggy bank. Lucas has 40 cents, and he says that that's the same as 1/2. However, he is incorrect. What is the actual fraction that he has? This one was super, super sticky. Super, super sticky. He has 40 cents or 4 dimes. As a fraction, that would be 4/10. That is not equal to 1/2. They are different fractions. 4/10 or 40 cents is not equal to 1/2. If we wrote 1/2 as a decimal, we could also say that we have 50 cents if we have 1/2 of a dollar. That one was super, super sticky. Isabella surveyed her friends and found that 3/10 of them like chocolate. In decimal form, how many of her friends like chocolate? 3/10 means a 3 in the tenths place. That brings us to the end of this week's work. Any questions? Bring them with you to class.